Hi everybody, welcome to Source Inspired Speaking. I'm Nathan. Today we're going to talk to you about a personal relationship with God and how you can understand God as existing within everything and still have a very personal, real relationship. It's an important message, especially for people who are raised in different religions who saw God differently and now are trying to bring all of this together into one cohesive image. It's an important message, it's powerful, and it's something everyone needs to hear. So with that, please sit back, remove yourself from any distractions, listen to these words, and I'll get back to you after. Hello. Thank you for joining us here today. We wish to speak to you about having a personal relationship with God. You see, we talk about God saying that God exists in everything, that everything you see around you is God. And some people, especially those who are brought up in certain religions, feel that this is a very impersonal way to depict God. They like having a conversation with God, someone that they can view as a person, that they can speak to, that they can ask to receive things from. It's very comforting because it's a relationship that people are used to having, as though talking to a parent or a guardian. But the relationship that we speak to, that you have with God, in many ways actually is much more personal than someone that you view as separate. You see, when you realize that God exists within everything, especially within yourself, you begin to realize the detail, the exquisite wonder, the thought and care and love that God puts into everything. When you can stop for a moment and pick up a leaf and see the amazing detail within it and the uniqueness of that one leaf unto the other billions across the world, then you get personal with God. When you realize that taking a moment to sit with your pets, your friends, your family, and getting to really know them, that's getting personal with God. You see, God is infinite. And so the closer you get to understanding the truth of even one person on your earth, the closer you get to God. It's a beautiful thing. And those who wish to get close to God, it encourages you to really spend time in the present moment, seeing things for what they are, releasing this conceptual version you have of the world, and spending time seeing the true beauty that exists. Because so often we look around us and we don't see things as they are. We classify them, we categorize them. We say, that's a crayon, that's a flower, that's a car. But we don't see the beauty that exists there, the exquisite detail that God put into every little piece of that flower, that crayon, that car. God exists in the broader picture, but God exists in the details. You find the love of God in all the details that exist in everything. The care that was put into creating this world is beyond belief. It's gorgeous. And when you realize that care, that same care that was put into all these objects was put into you, when you realize the wonder of what your body is, of how your soul connects to it, of how all the energy of the earth moves and with you, with your thoughts, with your actions. It's such a beautiful thing to see. That is God in motion. That is the truth of God. And yet you can still have a relationship where you speak to God because God exists on many levels of consciousness. So there is a level of consciousness that God exists on that encompasses all of humankind, all of your planet. And you can have a conversation with that part of God if you wish. Just remember that in it, if you speak to God at the level of consciousness that encompasses the whole earth, all the plants, all the creatures, all the humans, all the rocks, the water, everything, then understand that you are still speaking to yourself. You are still speaking to your family and friends. You are still speaking to the animals that you see, because they exist at that level of consciousness as well. It's just that at that level of consciousness, there's a broader perspective. And so when you go to speak to that level of consciousness, you are doing so because you wish to raise your level of consciousness to that same place. You are seeking that broader perspective. That's why you speak to that level. So when you ask God at that level of consciousness for answers, do the work to bring yourself to that level. Because that level sees a broader perspective. That level is not worried about the small things here on this planet. Because that level sees how everything's working together in perfection. And therefore, if you wish to raise yourself to that level of consciousness, you have to relax. Let your little worries melt away. Allow yourself to expand. Release the boundaries of who you think you are. Stop asking from a small place of I. Ask from a place of we. And then you will find it easier to reach that level. You'll find it easier to receive God's answers from that level of consciousness. Because then at that moment you are consciously existing there with God. So it's so important that you understand that you understand the perfection of everything, that you understand the beauty of this world, that you understand that God exists everywhere, and every relationship that you have is a personal relationship with God. And therefore, when you treat those around you as being aspects of God, you are seeing God in them. You are seeing a side of God that you did not see before. You are getting closer to that divine creator. And that is powerful. That is personal. Seeing God in everything is a much more personal relationship if you truly understand what you are doing. If you understand that just by getting close to one person, really understanding what makes them tick, you are understanding God in a beautiful new way that probably has never been seen before. You bring that new perspective of God to itself so that God can grow and expand in how it sees its reality. So with that, we thank you for joining us. We hope that this makes sense. We hope that you understand your relationship with God in a new way. We hope you see that it's a much more beautiful way of communicating with God, removing the separation, seeing the communication right here and now. You are speaking to God right here as you interact with this whole world around you. It doesn't have to be channeling to receive God. You don't have to be praying to receive God. You are living in God. You are experiencing God in this moment, and it is beautiful personal relationship unto your own experience. So with that, we thank you all for joining us, and we love you always. And so with that, I hope that really makes sense to you. I hope you understand that your relationship with the world is your personal relationship with God, and that you just need to communicate, experience the world, be present, as they said. The present moment experience is your communication with God. It's your seeing God. It's your personal relationship with God is this present moment. So when you can bring yourself to this moment, when you stop projecting forward or looking back and you just see things as they are, you see the beauty of God. It's all around you. And when you're present, you are communicating with God in so many different ways that you are moving energies that you can't even see into focus. And it's a beautiful thing. So we hope that helps you. Anyone that struggles with this idea of God being in everything and feeling like it takes something away from that experience that you knew of, that you learned of when you were a child in these other religions. And understand that you can still have that perspective of God. God still exists on that same level. That higher level version of God exists. But it's not any more real than this present moment experience here. They're one and the same. One's a broader perspective. One's, in some ways, a more personal perspective. And it's all amazing. So thank you all for joining me. If you like what you saw, please subscribe, hit the bell to get notified of any upcoming messages. Please love that like button for me. It really helps me out. Go forth, beautiful creators. Experience God in this present moment. And your relationship with God will be greater than you ever imagined. Thanks. Love you all. Bye.